What if I told you? Some houses don't just keep memories inside them, they keep the dead trapped forever. And sometimes, those spirits don't want revenge. They just want a child to replace the one they lost. Tonight's story is inspired by terrifying real events, and trust me, this movie will stay in your mind long after the video ends. Friends, today I'm going to explain one of the creepiest Indonesian horror films inspired by a real paranormal experience. The movie is called Father's Haunted House. And honestly, this is not just a ghost story. It's a heartbreaking tale about betrayal, suffering, motherhood, and restless spirits that refuse to leave this world behind. The film opens by telling us that this horrifying story was inspired by the real-life experiences of Indonesian comedian Dodit Mulyanto. Right from the beginning, the movie creates an uneasy feeling, like something terrible is hiding in the shadows waiting for us to discover it. We are introduced to a small village where an adult Dodit begins narrating the horrifying events from his childhood. The scene slowly shifts into the past, showing little Dodit watching other children happily playing with a battery-powered toy car. The children laugh, race the toy around, and enjoy themselves while Dodit silently watches from a distance with sad eyes. Deep down, he wants to join them too. He wants to feel included, even for a moment. One of the boys kindly offers him a chance to play, but Dodit quietly lies and says he already has a car at home and would rather play with his younger brother. But the heartbreaking truth is, he doesn't even have a younger brother. He made that story up because he was embarrassed. In reality, his family is extremely poor. He doesn't own a shiny battery-powered car like the other kids. All he has is a small handmade wooden toy car. That tiny moment tells us everything about Dodit's life. He's just a child trying to hide his pain behind fake smiles. Soon, Dodit returns home where he meets his family. His older sister Lise is pregnant, and her husband Devo lives with them because he doesn't really have a stable job. Dodit's parents are simple hardworking people trying their best to survive. His father has recently received a one-year transfer promotion as a forest ranger deep inside a remote jungle area in Java, Indonesia. When Dodit hears that they'll have to move away for an entire year, his heart sinks. He doesn't want to leave the only place he has ever known. Honestly, most of us would feel the same way. Leaving your childhood home suddenly feels like losing a part of yourself. Upset and emotional, Dodit locks himself inside his room. His mother gently follows him and tries comforting him like only a mother can. She promises that once his father settles into the new job, she'll buy him the toy car he always dreamed of owning. Dodit asks how long it will take, and when she says maybe a year, his face drops. But then she softly tells him something beautiful. Good things take time. That single line becomes emotionally important later in the story. The next day, the entire family leaves for the jungle house. Lise and Devo carry supplies in an old pickup truck while Dodit travels with his parents on a motorcycle. The deeper they go into the forest, the more isolated and unsettling everything feels. Endless trees, empty roads, silence everywhere. Then suddenly, the motorcycle tire loses air. Forced to walk through the forest path, Dodit's mother notices something sitting high on a tree branch. For a split second, it looks human. Pale. Motionless. Watching them. She becomes terrified, but Dodit's father laughs it off and says it's probably just a monkey. But the audience already knows. It was definitely not a monkey. Finally, as evening falls, the family reaches their new house. And immediately, something feels wrong. The house stands alone in the middle of the jungle like it has been abandoned by God himself. Near the house is a strange iron cage covered in rust and darkness. Even looking at it feels uncomfortable. The atmosphere around it is heavy, almost cursed. You know that feeling when a place instantly gives you bad vibes? This house feels exactly like that. As they unload their things, Lise's mother tells her to rest because of her pregnancy. Soon, two of Dodit's father's co-workers arrive, Sujan and Kasno. But even they seem nervous and uncomfortable. They explain that tonight is Kliwon Friday night, a spiritually dangerous night in Javanese belief where wandering spirits return to the world of the living. According to local legends, family spirits visit their loved ones during this night, but evil entities roam freely too. And honestly, the fear on their faces makes this warning feel very real. Dodit's father doesn't believe in supernatural stories, so he casually invites them to stay overnight. But Sujan and Kasno are visibly terrified. They keep glancing into the darkness around the house as if something might suddenly appear behind them. Then they begin talking about the cage outside. Apparently, it was once used to punish thieves who stole wood from the forest. But the moment Kazno tries explaining further, Sujin quickly stops him. He doesn't even want to say the full story out loud inside that house. That silence alone tells us, whatever happened there was horrifying. Late that night, Lise tells Devo that the house feels haunted. Devo brushes it off and asks her to stop overthinking. But moments later, Lise discovers a dead lizard inside the room and becomes frightened. When Devo takes it outside to throw it away, we briefly see a ghostly figure standing nearby in the darkness, silently watching him. But Devo never notices it. That's what makes the movie so disturbing. The spirits are always there. Watching. Waiting. Meanwhile, Sujin and Kazno grow more anxious. Strange noises echo through the house. Dodit wakes up terrified after hearing sounds outside and even wakes his mother. Since her husband still hasn't returned home, she nervously steps outside to check. Near the cage, she hears whispers and movement. While searching the area, she suddenly finds a clump of human hair lying on the ground. Then her eyes slowly drift toward the cage. And for one horrifying second, we see a ghostly figure inside. Pale. Broken. Staring directly at her. But before she fully understands what she saw, Kazno suddenly appears nearby, interrupting the moment. The next day, things get even stranger. An old man named Salamat arrives at the house to sell oil. While talking to Dodit's family, he casually mentions that many people have died there already. According to him, thieves used to disappear in those forests, and terrible things happen near that house. Lise becomes visibly disturbed after hearing this. But when Dodit's father returns, he angrily dismisses the stories as nonsense. He believes everything is just superstition created to scare people. Unfortunately, the house is about to prove him wrong. As days pass, terrifying paranormal incidents begin increasing rapidly. Lise notices mysterious handprints appearing and disappearing on blankets. She hears cries for help coming from empty rooms. Strange shadows move around the house at night. Sometimes, it feels like someone invisible is standing right behind them. The fear slowly infects everyone. Even Sujin suddenly behaves like a madman one day, screaming and acting possessed in the middle of work. Kazno somehow calms him down, but afterwards Sujin remembers absolutely nothing. At this point, Dodit's mother begs her husband to leave the house. She tells him this place is dangerous for their children. But his father refuses. He says God is with them and nothing bad will happen. Sometimes pride becomes the biggest reason people walk directly into disaster. That night, Dodit overhears his parents fighting. His mother is desperate to leave, but his father insists that this job is his responsibility. He believes sacrificing for the family is more important than fear. Meanwhile, Dodit only worries about one thing, his promised toy car. Because to a child, even during horror and chaos, small dreams still matter. Eventually, Dodit secretly asks Salamat about the true history of the house. And finally, we learn the terrifying truth. Years ago, during Dutch colonial rule, a local woman named Rukmini fell in love with a married Dutch man. She became pregnant with his child after he promised her love and a future together. But when his wife discovered the affair, the man betrayed Rukmini completely. He denied everything. He claimed the baby wasn't his. And to save himself, he destroyed her life. Rukmini was accused of theft and imprisoned inside the iron cage near the house. As punishment, her thumb was brutally cut off. She gave birth to her baby inside that cage, suffering alone in pain, hunger, and despair. And eventually, both mother and child died trapped inside it. On Kliwon Friday night. From that moment onward, people believed Rukmini's spirit never left. Honestly, this backstory is tragic more than scary. Rukmini wasn't born evil. She became a monster because betrayal destroyed her humanity. That night, horrifying events explode out of control. Lise believes she sees Devo returning home and prepares hot water for him. But moments later, she learns the real Devo is still deep in the jungle with Dodit's father. So if Devo wasn't home, then who entered the bathroom? Fear completely consumes Lise now. Later, she experiences a terrifying nightmare where ghostly women surround her during childbirth. The scene feels disturbingly real. And when she wakes up, Even her mother's face mask startles her because her mind is already breaking under fear and stress. Soon after, Dodit sees a spirit pretending to be Lise and leading him outside. But the real Lise was somewhere else entirely. That means the ghost can mimic people perfectly. And this is where the movie becomes genuinely terrifying because nobody knows who they can trust anymore. Dodit eventually disappears into the jungle, causing the entire family to panic. They search desperately through forests and graveyards while supernatural activity becomes more violent. At one point, Dodit sees a ghost singing from the top of a tree like a lost soul trapped between worlds. Salamat later explains something deeply chilling: spirits are attracted to people who still strongly desire life. That line hits hard emotionally because the ghosts in this story aren't just evil, they are broken souls desperate to return to life again. Eventually, Lise gives birth to a baby girl. For a short moment, happiness returns to the family. Everyone smiles again. It almost feels like the nightmare is finally ending. But horror stories never end that easily. On another Kliwon Friday night, the baby suddenly starts crying uncontrollably. Dodit approaches the room and sees a hand appear outside the window. Then chaos erupts. Lise wakes up to find lizards crawling everywhere inside the room. The lights fail. The baby disappears. And in the darkness, Dodit briefly sees the spirit holding the child in its arms. Rukmini has finally taken the baby she always wanted. The entire town begins searching desperately while Salamat enters a spiritual trance to communicate with the dead. Inside the spirit world, he finally meets Rukmini trapped near the cage where she died. And honestly, this scene is heartbreaking. Rukmini reveals how she suffered alone, abandoned by the man she loved. She explains that all she ever wanted was to escape with her child, but fate never allowed it. Now her rage has poisoned her soul completely. She doesn't just want revenge anymore. She wants another child to replace the one she lost forever. Suddenly, doors and windows slam shut on their own as the baby's cries echo from outside. The family realizes the spirit has been planning this from the very beginning. Every strange event, every appearance, every nightmare. It was all leading to this moment. Rukmini waited patiently until Lise gave birth. That's why she kept appearing around her pregnancy. Finally, the family discovers the baby inside the cage. They break the lock open and rescue her just in time. But even after saving the child, the nightmare still doesn't feel over. The next morning, Salamat warns them that Rukmini's spirit will remain tied to that house forever. Worse, countless tortured souls still wander those forests because many innocent people were brutally killed there during colonial times. The jungle itself has become cursed. Realizing their family will never be safe there, they finally decide to leave. As they drive away, Sujin and Kazno emotionally say goodbye. Despite all the horror, they had become like family. Then the story returns to present-day Dodit, now fully grown, standing near the same haunted place while narrating everything. He smiles nervously and says he's no longer afraid anymore. But behind him, for one terrifying second, we see Rukmini's spirit standing silently in the darkness. Still watching. Still waiting. And just when you think the movie is finally over, the post-credit scene delivers one final nightmare. Dodit's mother finally buys him his dream toy car after all these years. But when the shopkeeper hands it over, her face suddenly changes into Rukmini's horrifying expression. Meaning the spirit never truly left them. That's where Father's haunted house ends. This movie teaches us something deeply disturbing: pain doesn't always die with people. Sometimes betrayal creates wounds so deep that even death can't bury them. And the scariest monsters are often the souls who were once innocent. If you enjoyed this terrifying journey, don't forget to subscribe, because the next story might be even darker than this one.